Am I the a-hole for telling my husband I told you so, then laughing at me? When we got the paternity test results, I, 27 female, have been married my husband, 28 male, for 2 years and gave birth to our daughter 5 weeks ago. I'll try to keep this short, so I don't waste your time with any irrelevant details. What happened was that our daughter came out with blonde hair and pale blue eyes, while my husband and I have brown hair and brown eyes. My husband freaked out at this and refused to listen to my explanation that sometimes babies are born with lighter hair and eyes that get darker over time. He demanded a paternity test and threatened to divorce me if I didn't comply, so I did. After my daughter and I got home from the hospital, my husband went to stay at his parents' house for the first 3 weeks to get some space from me, while I recovered, and he told them what was happening. My milk called and informed me that if the paternity test revealed that the child wasn't his, she would do anything within her power to make sure that I was taken to the cleaners. During the divorce, I had my sister to lean on and help me take care of the baby during this. We got the results back yesterday, and my husband came home to view them with me. I was on the couch in the living room, so he sat next to me and we started to read the results. They showed that he was the father, and my husband had the shocked, kinda mortified look on his face with his eyes wide as he stared at it. I couldn't help but say, "I told you so," and started laughing at the way he looked. My husband snapped out of his shock and got mad at me for laughing at him. We argued for a bit, which was mainly him yelling at me, before my sister came downstairs and my husband shut up. After that, my husband went back to his parents' house to clear his head, and 3 hours later, my milk called to scold me about laughing in my husband's face, because apparently it was kicking him while he was down. She's also left a couple nasty texts essentially saying the same thing this morning. I don't think I'm in awe, but I'd like outsider perspective on this. Edit. I didn't realize I put me instead of him. Sorry, I have a headache. Edit. Since someone asked in the comments, but I can't find it anymore. I have zero history of cheating. Am I the a-hole for completely canceling my stepdaughter's birthday bash and leaving her with nothing after I broke up with her dad? I, 43 female, broke up with my ex Charlie, 40 male, last spring after finding out that he cheated with his ex, Sandy, 30 for female. We were together for 3 years, in which I was a very committed stepmother to his kid, Sarah, F, 17. She and I never acted like mother-daughter, but I was the go-to adult when she had problems or needed anything, because she and her mom don't get along and my ex would try to help, but his solutions weren't very effective. 1.5 years ago, I completed a very ambitious project for a large company. I started getting paid, but bonuses and royalties only came in this year. Upon launching, I was so happy and so grateful that I opened accounts for my kids. I decided to give Sarah the birthday party that she wanted. Her birthday falls in July, and she wanted a pajama party for 25 people, with a big bash, fancy cake, balloons, a DJ, and to go along with her friends to stay in a hotel out of town. This would be for her 18th birthday. So I set up a savings account under my main bank account. Charlie ended up asking me to help him fund a business idea, but I declined for a variety of reasons. We were not married and I prefer to go solo. His business idea sucked because he was inventing the wheel, and I would be finding everything. We ended up having to close the conversation because he got angry and said he needed a helpful partner by his side, and I responded that I was taught not to give men my money. I know I was harsh and I apologized. I began to feel very insecure when Charlie started to criticize my makeup and personal style. He also praised other women to my face, and I felt horrible. Early in the relationship, we had issues because of his communication with Sarah, his ex, which resulted in him promising to cut her off. Fast forward, and I began to notice that Sarah was very active in his family's social media. She gave likes and commented a lot, so I asked him if they were still in contact, because it just didn't make sense. He denied it. I went on a 10-day business trip, and our communication was very off. He would only take my calls until early in the night, and became very vague about his daily activities. I couldn't reach him at all for 2 nights on several days apart. He sounded weird when we finally talked, so I lied about having to delay my return date for a few days and arrived 1 day earlier instead. I came home to find used condoms in the trash. My world was shattered, and I threw up. His face changed when he saw me home. He also claimed to have been to his mother's house until late. I said I was sick when he asked what was going on and didn't mention anything, but he rushed to take out the trash and to do the laundry. I got into his phone, I know it's wrong, and found hundreds of messages from his ex, pictures, voicemails, and conversations like they had never broken up. He consulted her about things, told her about his day, etc. Then I found a family chat that made me sick. He, Sarah, and Sandy Spent a whole 2 days at a camping site last year when I went to visit family, and there were pictures from last month with his ex at his mother's house. Obviously, he had a full-blown relationship behind my back, and his entire family was aware of it. I directly confronted him, and he tried to deny it until I laid one of the voicemails. I couldn't take the humiliation, so I moved out weeks later. I closed the bank account for the birthday bash and kept the money for myself. I cut everyone off, including his kid. He reached out in the last week of May. He pleaded with me not to take away Sarah's birthday celebration. I never replied. I know she's a teenager, and that she has no control over her dad's actions. But she seems awfully comfortable in her pictures with his ex, and I feel extremely betrayed. Also, there's no way in hell that I'm funding a party that I'm not going to attend for obvious reasons, and I don't want to contribute to a celebration so that his shitty family could eat and drink on my dime. Sarah's mom always had separate celebrations for her, and her gift was supposed to be a camping trip. My ex's family cannot afford the celebration unless they saved way in advance. My best friend says that maybe I can send Sarah a gift if I find it in myself to forgive her actions, but I don't feel like it. His sister sent me a voicemail the other day, asking me to please don't turn my back on her niece. I feel awful because I know this was Sarah's dream, but I'm too disgusted to back out from my decision. Am I the whole edit? The ex he cheated with is not Sarah's mom. She's an ex-GF and much younger. Her mom is also in her 40s.